Hi there, I'm Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media.
And I'm Jenny Walk from Elephant in the Room Consulting, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Live Podcast, the show that helps business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business.
Whether you're launching, ready to scale, or figuring out what's next, we discuss the nitty-gritty, the hard bits, the opportunities, and the behind the scenes, and share how we've grown our own companies and helped others do the same.
We're glad you're here. From Elephant in the Room Consulting and Kylie Mowbray-Allen from Hello Media, and you're tuning into Bite-Sized Business Live Podcast, the show that helps small business owners get clarity and insight to grow their dream business. Good morning, Kylie. How are you today?
So great, Jenny. Happy Monday, and very nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. It's coming into spring. I'm loving this time of year because I feel like there's a renewal happening. It's coming into that last quarter where I get really excited about planning for my next year. How do you find this quarter for your year?
I love it. I've got a big session with the accountant this afternoon, which has got me pumped. I've got lots of things to chat to her about and ideas. And yeah, it's a good time of year for sure. I'm excited.
It is such a great time of year. I find it's like one of those, it's that kind of people often, I kind of feel like in the US, I think they do their tax at this in September, like as 30 September is their tax for some of the businesses. And I kind of love that. Instead of having this kind of mid-year kind of rush, you get to kind of see how you've performed across almost like the 9 months of the year and the calendar year, which most people, unless you're in business, kind of like to work in. And it feels like a natural time to do a reflection and to do a kind of stock taking, I guess, about what you've done well, what you need to change, just to kind of, drive the next couple of quarters. I love it.
Totally. And in our group coaching the last few weeks, we've been working on auditing all of our where we're seen online. So not just socials, but everything across the board. And it's been a really exciting project. It's a huge project. Like my PDF is like 10 pages long or something of all the things to go through, but it's such an important job. Like one thing that we did, I would encourage everyone to do this, is to go to each of your platforms. And if you can, so what I do on my screen is I open up 4 different windows of Chrome. And then on each different window, I put them in a corner. So I've got a grid on my whole screen. And on that one, LinkedIn's open, on that one, Instagram, on that one, Facebook, on that one, Pinterest, or whatever you want. And then look at what all your home pages look like to people that are looking at you. And do they all match? If they got the, I love talking branding, but are you totally on brand? And that in itself is such a powerful exercise to go, ooh, not really.
I think it's really important, and it does link today's topic around SEO though, doesn't it? Because if your conversation across those 4 platforms aren't consistent, you might get really great traction in one of your platforms due to your SEO and your keywords, which we're going to talk about today, but your other platforms aren't going to be firing as strongly because you're not connecting with the same conversation. But also that means when you are showing up on those SEO on searches on Google or whatever your search platform is, they're not going to see all of you. They're only going to see one voice of you instead of to see that you're actually on all those 4 platforms and on other people's platforms with their backlinks and things like that. So I think it's actually a great idea to see and go, well, what do we look like across all the platforms? Is our voice the same, or do I write differently on LinkedIn as I do to Instagram, or vice versa? And I think it's a very, very clever kind of little time to take that. So I want everyone to do that this week, is do a bit of stock take about what your platforms look like. It's a great tool.
Yes, totally. And while you're there, look at your links, because one of the most powerful SEO tools for you and your website are the links from your socials going to your website. So this topic today is the beginner's guide to SEO. So that's a great first tip, is to jump onto those socials and check. Are you linking to your homepage? Where are you linking to? Is it a broken 404 link? And remember that LinkedIn, while you may not choose to actually be actively present and posting daily or whatever, LinkedIn is one of your most powerful SEO tools. So if you were to Google search yourself, you would find that LinkedIn would be one of your top 5, probably at least, in the first page. So sometimes even higher up than your website. So yeah, well and truly worth looking at. What is LinkedIn saying about you, and have you optimized your LinkedIn profile?
I have to say, there's nothing more annoying or frustrating, let me use that term, more frustrating than people who haven't kind of at least got a photo on LinkedIn or at least their bio done on LinkedIn. I mean, mine is not gonna call it, is probably out of date. However, people can go there. I post regularly. We change our header regularly. My photo's been updated, so we actually are, trying to represent who we are now. But at least there's something there, right? Versus people who have this LinkedIn platform and don't have any photos and don't have any connections to who you are. And because I notice when I do that, and we occasionally do the Google stalk, where we'll click the buttons to see if where we see. Where we come up on a SEO search, on a Google search for where we're sitting. And when there isn't anything on LinkedIn, you're like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't personally do very much with my business LinkedIn. I really prefer to use my personal LinkedIn. But I was on it on Saturday, and it's quite rare for me. But one thing that I do like about LinkedIn on a weekend is it's a much different vibe than what it is during the week. So it's not so much of the CEOs posting their latest whatevers. It's more like people just being real. And it's pretty fun. There's some cool polls I took part in, and someone even said, hey, here I am on LinkedIn. I'm really loving the weekend vibe. Excuse me. They got loads of comments saying, yeah, LinkedIn on the weekend's our favorite place to be. So on socials, for example. So
well, that might change my connection. I have to say, I don't really looked at LinkedIn on the weekend, so maybe that might start changing, because if you've got kind of cool content, and particularly if it's different content, that's what I like. Sometimes we get the same old. So I love that tip. So that's our first tip for SEO, right? To make sure that your backlinks and that you're linking to all the different socials, and importantly back to your website, are consistent, but also that voice and that the keywords that you're using are consistent. But I'm going to take a step back. So when we talk about SEO, there's so much conversation around keywords and how to do a keyword search and what is a keyword search and all the kind of, terms that sit around that. For those who are listening and going, I'm just new to SEO, and for those who don't know what even SEO is, search engine optimization, tell us about keywords.
Well, I think the biggest first issue for people is the word keyword, because that in itself basically makes you think it's a singular word. So let's use an example. Let's pretend that you're a photographer, and all your keywords are going to be around being a photographer. So imagine how many people you're competing with when people need someone for their wedding photographer. They're not just going to type in photographer, because every photographer under the sun to do with product image shots or portraiture or anything's going to show up. So the first thing we would change would be just a one-word keyword. We're going to change that to what's known as a long tail keyword, and that would be wedding photographer. Or let's even take it a step further, Byron Bay wedding photographer, or Brisbane wedding photographer. So that's actually a keyword, is those words put together as a long tail keyword. So I want you to first of all stop thinking, not you, Jenny, but everybody listening, about keyword being a single word, because I think that's the first most misleading thing. So for example, let's stay with the photographer thing. So if they're putting into their content, we're a well-known Byron Bay wedding photographer, or we're an award-winning Byron Bay wedding photographer, that's great, because I'm coming to Byron for a wedding. I'm typing for my wedding, I'm looking for a photographer, so I'm typing into the search Byron Bay wedding photographers. So that's how you're going to show up in a search, and we're aiming for being on page 1 of a Google search, because who goes to page 3 or 4 or 25? So we're always aiming to get there, and the way we're really going to get a better shot of that is having some great keywords, not photographer, not wedding photographer, but being super specific.
What I love about what you said there, which you didn't say overtly, but I'm going to just reiterate, is that keywords are not just about hashtags. And I think so many people that I speak to get the confusion that hashtags and keywords are the same things, and they serve similar purpose, but they're not the same. So that idea of actually having, and now as you're talking, you can see I'm going to write in my about us that I am a Byron Bay wedding photographer. I've been working in the Byron Bay region for 20 years. I'm an award-winning photographer. So all those different ways that somebody is going to try and find me, I scatter around in a way that's going to get people to connect with me and find me, because it's part of my whole conversation, right? It's not just, I'm Jenny and I love photography. By the way, I'm a Byron Bay wedding photographer. You don't just tack it on the end. It's actually making it part of the conversation. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. And if we think about you, for example, so let's say maybe there's a little paragraph on your homepage saying, hi, I'm Jenny Walker and I'm an Indigenous business consultant. Then that's great, because I would be looking for an Indigenous business consultant, and that is what I would type into Google, as Indigenous business consultant. You wouldn't say, well, you would say, hi, I'm Jenny Walk, I'm an Indigenous woman from Bunjalung country, da 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 da, and I like to play in the business coach, business consulting space. That's for people to read. That's not really going to be helping Google. So we need to be very, very specific and say, literally, hi, I'm Jenny Walk, I'm an Indigenous business consultant. Then you can go into all the other things that you want to say, but think of the way that people are going to be searching for you and where you want to show up under what type of search.
So really, keywords are about connecting people who are looking for services and goods that you provide in a way that matches the way we search. So if we kind of just go to brass tacks, imagine whatever you're typing into Google to find you or similar products like you, that's what you need to include across your website.
Absolutely. And it is so often a huge problem, because we know our businesses so incredibly well that we think that people would search for something different. So for example, who's going to type in digital marketing coach? No one, because most people don't even really understand what digital marketing is. What they would type in could be social media coach, or I need help with my social media. That is literally the perfect long tail keyword, is I'm looking for help with my social media.
Yeah.
Or online training for social media. So I've got to look way beyond what I do and what I would sum myself up as, to really knuckle in, what's the word? Deep dive into what are other people going to search for when they're looking for me.
And it goes back to our conversation that we so often have about making sure that what we're writing on our website and writing in our content is for our customers. So it's not just about what we want to say about us, it's what others want us to say about us, so they can connect and find it. And it's very clear to them about what it is we do. So I love that. And it goes on to the second piece that you kind of, again, you've already kind of talked about this, but then we can actually create our content around those keywords in a way that makes it engaging still, though, can't we?
Absolutely. Now, there's a really cool website called Answer the Public, and it's very reasonable if you want to subscribe to it cost-wise. And what's so cool about it is that you can type in something that you think is your great long tail keyword, and it gives you lots of ideas around that of what people are actually searching for, the literal phrases that they're searching for. So from that, what I always suggest, whether you're using Answer the Public or whether you're using just literally organically typing into Google and looking for what people are searching for, you can then create a spreadsheet with ideas for what should go in your FAQs and what your next lot of blog posts should be about. Because you want to make sure that the headings for those blog posts or for those FAQs are literally the way that people search.
And I think that is so critical. I remember that was one of the first things that you taught me, is if I'm writing in, like when we talked about the voice last week, it's like, tell me what the voice is about. It might be a blog that says, so this blog is going to tell you what the voice is about, and you write it in a way so it's, again, so they're connecting exactly with the answer. So it's providing the answer to their questions in a content driven kind of organic way, rather than the kind of dot points or just putting things in a way that's not going to feel connected to people.
Absolutely. So Answer the Public literally says, discover what people are asking about. And when you think about the way that you use Google yourself or do a search yourself, so think, what was the last thing that you searched for? I'm just pulling up my Chrome on my phone because I've already used it multiple times today, because it's my go-to for everything. So here you go. The last one was, is Mexico, this is my last search, is Mexico a member of the UN? So because we'd gone to this list and Mexico wasn't included, and I just felt sure that they were, so I just did a Google search, blah, 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 and then up it comes. Now, as you scroll down, what I see is this really awesome little section that then says more questions or people also ask. And those are things like, when did Mexico join the UN? Which countries are not registered in UN? Why are there only 5 permanent members of the UN, etc.? Now, if I was wanting to write a blog post about this, then the way that those have been written are absolutely perfect for me to use as headings for my next lot of blog articles.
I love that. And Answer the Public, if I'm not mistaken, is done by Neil Patel, one of the people that we both kind of subscribe to and connect with, in terms of, you know, ideas. And I haven't played with Answer the Public. I've heard him talk about it before. But that connection between, I think one of the things that I always struggle with SEO and the conversations around SEO is people try to complicate things, right? And if we break it down and using our favorite word, uncomplify, is that idea of saying, what is SEO is really about how we get whatever search engine you're using to find your website or your socials above everybody else. That's fundamentally what we're trying to do with SEO.
Yes, we just want people to find us for what they're actually looking for. We need to be the answer to that search.
Yeah. So I love that.
I was looking, sorry, carry on.
No, I was just saying, I love the simplicity of that. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. We don't have to get, I know we can get complicated, and there's lots of, you know, you can deep dive into SEO, and we know companies do nothing but SEO. But for the average business owner who wants to start getting seen, it's that keywords really are the key, isn't it? The long tail keywords really is the key.
Absolutely. So the majority of our clients that we do, you know, we have another arm to our business, which is as a social media agency. So for those that are on the program, the package where we also write their blogs and newsletters, etc., when you go into the back end and check out what's going on with where their pages are ranking, etc., without fail, every single one of those clients have one of our blogs in the top 5 of their search results. So blogs are so powerful for getting new traffic to your site that when you look in the back end of your website, or you look in Google Analytics and you check out, for example, what are the top 5 pages that are bringing the traffic to your site. So those social media management clients that we have, when we're writing blogs for them, it's our goal that we will always get those blogs in the top 5 of searches. So it's really important that, first of all, you're checking out what are the terms that people are using when they type into the Google and they're looking for something like what you do. But then the next bit would be, how can I then use that long tail keyword or series of keywords to weave that into my content? And for me personally, it's always write a blog about it.
Yeah. So if you're talking about answering, so it's not just using them on your website. So let's say for me, we do Empire Builders in the same way you do your online program. So for Empire Builders, it's writing a program. It's like, why is a mastermind right for your business? Writing a blog like that, that's sprinkled within those keywords that answers that question, is really what we want, because we know that's what people are typing in. Should I do a business mastermind? What's the benefits of doing a business mastermind? How's it going to improve my business? Or what are 5 ways to improve my business? Answering those questions with that response of the mastermind or whatever it is we do is actually going to then help me get onto that front page and help me connect when somebody makes a search like that.
Yes, and I love that as you brought it down, you got it literally down to that very initial stage of, how do I help my business grow, or whatever it was, what can I do for my business? Or it could be like, I'm stuck, where to next with my business? So if you're covering things like that, like at the really, the grass level stage, then they head there, they find your blog, they're reading about it, and then there's a link through to read more about the mastermind.
It's so clever and so easy for anybody to be able to do that, and it's just understanding that first piece, isn't it? It's understanding the keywords, what are the phrases people are typing. So it's putting ourselves, so really SEO is putting ourselves in our customers' shoes and saying, what are they looking for? How do they want to find out? What are the questions that we need to answer for them in order for them to choose us and find us?
Yes. So if you were to have a dinner party, for example, and invite all your friends that are business owners, but really have had very little to do with your business, and say to each one of them around the table, what would you type into Google if you were looking for help with your business? or you're feeling stuck in your business. Each one would have something slightly different, but each one needs to lead to your mastermind. And what's so good about asking people that don't know your business is because they're the people that do are the same as you and me. And we use different terms than people that don't know our business would use.
Yeah, like even the term mastermind, people are like, what's a mastermind? Because we've been using that term for so many years. It's just natural to us. But others would be looking for, you know, as you say, how do I improve my business? And the same reason when we're talking about the coaching programs that you do, which is about how do I learn how to, you know, get visible online? How do I get connected with my customers? How do I build trust through my socials? All those sort of things. How do I even get on social media? Those are the questions that I know that your blogs answer so easily, which is why you're consistently, you know, coming up well on the search engines.
What about even better? We remove all of those and we literally say, my social media is not working. Because all of those things like visibility, people don't use those words. We use it because that's the outcome. But when I'm trying to be found, that's not the words that I would use. It's like, I'm overwhelmed by social media for my business. Or do I really have to do social media for my business? That's a great search term too.
I love that.
Yeah, if I talked to just literally nothing about, if all I ever talked about was getting visible online and digital marketing, I would be stuffed because they're just not what people search for. So
you get a very small pool, you're a very small part of a very large pool that you could be working with, right?
Yeah. So, like, do I need email marketing? Do I really need to understand SEO? All those kind of ones are good for me to think about keywords and blogging.
Definitely. So if somebody is just starting out to look at their own SEO, maybe they haven't done one of your courses yet, maybe they haven't found you yet, and they're looking for that one tip to start their SEO conversations, because there's lots of, you know, a lot of my clients, a lot of my colleagues sort of talk about keywords in, you know, all these fancy terms. And really, what is the one tip? What's the one takeaway for someone who wants to start playing with their SEO and improving their content? So we find that keyword, then we make sure our headings are answering that, and we make sure it's sprinkled through our content in a way that's readable for somebody. So it has to be an experience, not just feel like it's written by a robot. But what's the one tip in terms of getting that keyword search right?
Would be to not go to ChatGPT. Because so many people just go there and say, give me 10 keywords for my business. And so it will, or give me 10 hashtags to use on social media for my business. And it will, but it hasn't actually done the research on any of those. So then if you do want to use ChatGPT to get you started, then grab one of those keywords, pop it into Google, do a search and see what are the pages that are coming up that it's showing you. So is it actually going to work for you, and is it going to work in the way that you want to be found? But then once you've come up with your list of keywords, and I'd go for, say, 50 to start with in a spreadsheet. And that is not tricky. It sounds overwhelming, I know, 50. But if you think of Byron Bay wedding photographer, you've also got Northern Rivers wedding photographer. You've got Far North Coast, New South Wales wedding photographer. Like, there's a lot of different ways of putting it out there that people would be searching for something different. Bangalore wedding photographer, for example. There's loads of things. Then you've got to work out where you're going to weave those keywords in, and you want to absolutely not keyword stuff, because Google will just penalize you for that for sure. So you want to think about where you're going to put those keywords, and think of the places like your alt text is super important, in your headings, also in your, so obviously not just in your content, but then also in the names of your images. There are just so many ways where you can be weaving those in. And that's not even just for your website, that's for your socials, in your captions, at all the places. You need to think about putting those keywords in, and think about YouTube even. YouTube, people often say, oh, it's a social media platform, but no, it's a search engine. When we're looking for something to find out how to do something, we type into the search bar of YouTube what it is that we're looking for. So that's basically what it's all about, is just how do people write in what they're searching for and the result that they need.
I think that's such a really good tip. I always, every time you say that YouTube is search engine, it just reminds me. I forget that all the time because it's where we go to watch videos. But of course, it's a search engine because anything that has a search bar at the top where you have to type in what you're looking for is a form of search engine. And I think it's that in itself is like gold for people who want to. And it's one of the reasons why playing on YouTube, and if you're doing shorts or very small videos like this or podcasts on YouTube, is so important because it does not only come up on Google search, but you can then search within the platform itself for very similar content in the same way we talk about Pinterest, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now imagine that you are someone that cleans chimneys, and we get the same guy out every year. Fabulous, fabulous man. But imagine that I didn't even know I was going to get, there was someone out there to clean chimneys, right? So I just jump onto YouTube and type in, how do I clean my chimney for my fireplace? So I start watching those kind of videos and I'm like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. That's so full on. Now imagine if he had a video up there or a blog post and I was searching on Google or whatever for how to clean my own chimney. Now, a lot of people would think, oh, that's not going to get him work if it's actually showing you how to do it. But it is, because most of those people would be like me and go, oh, now that I've seen how to do it, I don't want to do it. But then he'll go, and if this looks like too much for you, just get in touch with me and I'll pop right over.
And in fact, I saw that recently. We just got our solar panels cleaned and we've got a 2-story house. And I did, excuse me, exactly the same thing. I Googled how to clean your solar panels, and the guy we end up choosing had a blog, told us how to do it. And it was like, but if you don't have a 10-foot ladder, or if you're a second story and you're not really comfortable with heights, this is where you need us. And I love that because it showed me what I can expect too, though. So the blog was really clever when I see the videos or that kind of blog, because it's actually setting my expectations of what that person's going to do. So it's not only just showing me that actually it's a bit too technical for me, it's setting a really clear expectations about what that service is going to be and what it isn't going to be. And I think when you've got something that's obscure, like a chimney cleaning or solar panel cleaning, having that clarity and know, oh, I can trust now. So we talk about know, like, and trust. It's a really easy way to build trust through a simple, posting a video on YouTube, write keywords, tell me I can do it, and then direct me to them.
Absolutely. I love that. That's literally exactly what you did with your solar panels.
It's exactly what I did. And he was amazing. And had I been home, he would have cleaned the windowsill on my second floor window that I couldn't get to, but I wasn't home, so he couldn't do my windowsills. So now I still have to work out how to do that.
Well,
anyway, we should get back to SEO. So, because we could be rabbit holing here on a Monday morning, people. So SEO, my tips or my takeaway, and I'd love you to summarize after, once I give you, think about what for me as the layman person here is, one, what do my customers want? What are my customers searching for me, or the types of service I can provide? How am I answering that through my website? And that all comes back to making sure we have the right question that we're asking in the first place.
Absolutely. If we
put
just
that more simply.
No, I think that's perfect. But if we use you again as an example, and I said earlier, Indigenous business consultant, that's only for one part, and it might be a blog about you being an Indigenous business consultant, but then you're not trying to just attract other people that are looking for an Indigenous business consultant. So then your next keyword would be award-winning business consultant, award-winning business coach. So you can have many variations on those keywords. So yeah, I think you summed it up beautifully, Jenni.
And so if we get you, this is your wheelhouse. This is what you do every day with clients to help build their SEO, get them to be visible online, our words. How do people get in contact with you so they can find your amazing tips on helping themselves get seen and also learn more about SEO?
Jump onto hellomedia.team on our website, and then through there you can find our socials. But I just want to say, I am definitely not an SEO guru, but I am fascinated by it, and I am constantly learning and upskilling in it. But I also want to quickly say, things are about to change big time. You and I were just watching a wee video, a little Neil Patel video just before. And so hopefully next time we do a chat about SEO, maybe a month or two, we'll have some big things that we can be announcing. But yeah, the game is going to change. But for right now, what we've talked about today, it is so important that you get on top of that. What about
I
you,
love
Jenni?
that.
How can they
We can
connect?
find you though. We can find you at hellomedia.team. Go to the website, connect with Kylie and her coaching. What I love about you is you're not a coach that says, I know everything. You're a coach that says, let's talk about the basics. Let's talk about the resources that can help build that knowledge. And as your knowledge builds, you share that with your clients. That's what makes you an exceptional award-winning coach yourself, is you're constantly learning and sharing that. So make sure you guys head to hellomedia.team to find Kylie. It's her website. You can also find hellomedia.dreamteam on socials, because this is your social media and your digital marketing guru and my digital BFF. And definitely want to connect with you in relation to these content, because it really is about building and continually learning your knowledge.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jenni. And how can they get in touch with you?
If you're looking to come to a mastermind or want to build your business, then the best way to find us is elephantintheroomau.com. That's our website. And you can also find us at Elephant in the Room AU on socials across all the platforms. We have that standard socials. But for those who are joining us today, we hope we see you next time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kylie, for also an amazing conversation and helping us kind of demystify a little about SEO. So it's not quite so complicated. Keywords, long tail keywords.
Love it. Look forward to seeing you next time, Jenni.
Make sure, if you're watching this, make sure you like and subscribe to us so you can follow us and you find out when our next drop is, which should be next Monday morning. We're talking about business and building your business next week a little bit more. So make sure you find us, and we'll see you next week. Kylie, thanks so very much. Sorry about the technical glitch in the middle, but
it's awesome. You came back. I love it.
I came back, which is always good. Have a great day, everyone. Nice to see you, Kylie.
Bye. Thanks.